tips on how I overcame my temper problem after the intro. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Trey Baird. This is Self-Improvement Sunday, and this is a disclaimer. I haven't actually overcame my anger. I've just made a lot of big strides in improving how I handle it. So let's get on with the tips, shall we? Honestly, this is something that's been troubling me ever since adolescence. Ever since puberty, if you will. I've been a very angry person. Yes, before you ask, I did seek therapy for my anger issues, amongst other things I was going through. And long story short, it didn't do a whole lot for me. But it might be the solution that you need if you're struggling with anger. Not every size fits every person. Struggling with anger has been my biggest demon for most of my life. A lot of times I haven't even known exactly how to handle it. As a child, as a young child, I was not known as being angry. I was known as being very happy-go-lucky, very nice, if you will. And then almost like a switch was flipped in my brain. I went through my adolescence and then adulthood as an extremely angry person. And I haven't always known where this is coming from or even what to do with it. Honestly, even though I've known I was angry, I didn't exactly know how angry I was. I thought that it was fairly normal to be angry the way that I was. Until, little nuggets of information would pop into my existence. And I would see just how uncomfortable I was making the majority of the people that I interacted with. Little voice in my head kept telling me, look, this isn't normal. This level of anger that you're experiencing and putting other people through is not normal. You need to do something about it, man. I guess Gaga Ball is still open. I mean, tennis is, so I guess so. I wonder if people even realize this. Anyway, my anger cost me so much. I mean, basically, anger costs you your time. And I'm in my mid-30s now. I've been going through this for the better part of 2 decades. And that's 2 decades that I will never get to properly live in my life because I let anger be my dominant go-to emotion. And I'm telling you from personal experience, it's not a good thing. You're better off letting something else be your dominant go-to emotion. The thing is, though, some people will tell you that anger is a choice. And on some level, it is a choice. But I think there's a better word to describe the level of anger that I'm talking about. I think it's better to label anger like this as a bad habit. I mean, a habit is technically something you're choosing to do, even if it's on a subconscious level. And anger is a bad, destructive habit. And thus, when you're treating it, you should treat it like a habit. The reason habits exist is an evolutionary thing. I don't want to get too much into that right here because that's a video in and of itself. But if you have a habit, it's serving you on an evolutionary level. It's fulfilling a need that you have. So what need was anger fulfilling in my brain? That's a good question. And the thing is, when it comes to self-improvement and identifying faults that we have, it's difficult to take a good, honest look at yourself. Usually you have to get the opinion from someone else. And I don't know that I've ever really had any personal developmentally motivated people in my life to really point these things out, except for overpaid, ridiculous shrinks that did nothing for me, but was more than happy to cash checks and prescribe drugs that did nothing for me. Instead, all I can really do for you at this point is tell you what worked for me, what motivated me to fix my situation and to be less angry. There were two major things. Number one was the birth of my child. And my desire, my overwhelming desire as a parent to give him the best possible upbringing that I was capable of doing. This means breaking the negative cycles and not perpetuating the bad habits and the bad things, for lack of a better word, that tend to be repeated. You know, sins of the father type thing. You know, you tend to pass on a lot of your negative and positive qualities to your kids. This was my first motivation. Second motivation was physiological. I literally feel, and this still happens, whenever I get angry, I literally feel like my anger is going to kill me. Like, literally kill. You know, not as in, you know, reduce the quality of my life, as in I will be dead if I don't get my anger under control. I start getting these awful headaches, like mostly on top and in back of my head, but yeah, I mean, like predominantly like right here, although I get them in the front too. And I mean other physical side effects, but that was the big one, and that was the one that scared me. So there's the motivation. How did I make it happen? How did I just stop being angry? Well, I mean, that's a tricky question, but I will say it does get considerably easier when you have a strong motivation, which I did. I've asked people the same question, people that are very calm, who I can just tell by looking at them that they had a history of anger problems. And I would ask them, how do you overcome anger? And I could never get a good answer. The best answer I could ever get was, you know, the Nike phrase, just do it. Just don't be angry, get over things. I was like, that's not even really an answer. But there is some wisdom to this answer. Is it that simple? Yes and no. I mean, that is technically the right answer, but it does kind of oversimplify things and make it seem easier than it is. Yeah, just don't get angry. Get over it. But, you know, it's a simple answer that requires a lot of effort on your part. For me, I felt that it was helpful if I identified triggers for my anger. What makes me angry? When do I get angry? How angry do I get? I learned that I tend to get most angry in the morning. I know that like 1 or 2 p.m. isn't the morning, but that's about the cutoff time for when I was no longer in my anger danger zone. I learned that when I get angry, I tend to stay angry. So in that case, it's preferable to just not get to the point of no return in the first place. As I said earlier in the vlog, getting angry costs me my time. That's time I will never get back. So if I get angry over a trivial thing in the morning and I hold that all day, that's a complete day I've lost over what exactly? Why am I losing this time? Is my anger this important that I can sacrifice a day or even 2 or 3 days over it? Is my cause just, in other words? 99.9% of the time, I found the answer to be no. It's not just. It's not worth sacrificing a day over, even if I'm completely 100% convinced that my anger is justified and I've been screwed over and I am the victim. It's still not worth the drama of losing time over. We've all heard the advice of, before you get angry, ask yourself, is this something you're going to care about in 5 years? And once again, good advice, oversimplified. Phrasing it that way doesn't help me. Phrasing it in such a way that asking, is my anger about something justified? Is it worth losing the time I'm going to lose over it? That was more helpful to me. I still struggle with knowing exactly what it is that triggers me. I wish I could afford one of those nice psychiatrists that don't just try to shove pills down your throat and actually listen to what you say. Unfortunately, out of the 6 or 7 shrinks that I saw, none of them were like that. But hey, the plan is to get obscenely wealthy from content creation. Maybe I can afford some therapy after I get some success, huh? And you can help me get to that goal by liking and subscribing to this video and checking back every day for brand new content. Did you see what I did there? That was a pretty smooth transition, wasn't it? Except for my stuttering, but hey, not gonna redo the take. I'm just gonna leave it in. Peace out, everyone. Check back again next time.